Tokyo is one of those cities that feels impossible to explain until you've experienced it. One minute you're walking through a quiet forest shrine, the next you're standing in the busiest intersection on the planet. We had only 4 days here, so every stop mattered, from hidden alleys and street food to futuristic art and views high above the city. Here's what our time in Tokyo looked like, and let's jump in. After a crazy night dealing with the jet lag, we got up early in the morning and we headed over to the Senso-Ji temple. We started at the Kaminariman gate, which was already busy with people lining up to take photos with the famous lantern. And then we started walking down the market street toward the temple, which was just getting set up with only a few of the shops open. Since we were so early, we decided to head over and grab some coffee and breakfast before exploring the temple. And for that, we ducked down a side alley and headed to Geisha Coffee, which is famous for its 3D latte art. This place knows what they're doing, and there's a selection of over 20 different types of foam art you can have in your drink. After you order, when it's your turn, they call you over and you can watch the entire creation process. Plus, they put this on chocolate and strawberry milk for children as well. Both my kids and my wife picked out a drink with their own unique foam topping, and I talked to the lady and she said that she worked for over 6 months to make all of the different ones.
It's fun. Fun way to have a coffee in the morning.
Good start to Japan.
Not too hot, not too cold.
Is it perfect? Oh, good. We also grabbed some breakfast here and then we set out to explore the market again. Known as Nakamise Street, this is one of the oldest shopping areas in Japan dating back to the 17th century. While it's much more touristy now, it's still a fun place to shop for souvenirs and all of the interesting delicacies that they have on the streets. The shopping street is around 250 meters, which is longer than you'd anticipate, and no matter when you visit, it's going to be busy, but early mornings are always better than later in the day. This is an incredible way to start the morning, just walking down that beautiful street, seeing the Skytree, and seeing the temple. Approaching the temple gate, it is a pretty beautiful sight to see and a great start to your time in Tokyo. I read online that this is one of the most visited religious sites in the world and that it gets over 30 million visitors a year. And while it looks old, most of this was actually rebuilt when it was destroyed in 1945. Outside of the temple, you'll see all of the smoke that I was told people use to cleanse themselves before going into the main temple. We didn't stay long as I didn't want to encroach on people's worship experience, and then I headed back into the market as I needed to find a place to exchange money to get coins to buy a fortune. I was on the hunt to find a money exchange and I kept seeing this strawberry candy. Couldn't resist giving it a try. Wow, it is like a hard, crunchy candy shell around a pretty amazing strawberry. I can see why people are selling these up and down the street. I guess I have to save these for the kids. 1 thumb up or 2? Yeah, I think it's 2 thumbs up too. All right, your turn, dear.
Put the top of creme brulee.
Covered in a strawberry.
Around with strawberry. How can that be bad? It just didn't look like it would be a good thing, but that is delicious.
Strawberry candy became a staple for us on our trip. We ate it every time we saw it, and we even ate it in Taipei because they had it there as well.
Okay, before we move on, we have to get our fortune, so fingers crossed it's a good one.
If it's not a good one, you just tie it up right here though and you leave it behind. I was told that fortunes are a big thing at the different temples in Tokyo, and after depositing 100 yen, you shake a metal cylinder which releases a numbered bamboo stick. Then you match that stick to the drawer, pull out your fortune and read it. If it's good, you take it with you. If it's bad, you tie it up and leave it there. First of all, you got a regular fortune, so that means it's not good or bad, so that's good.
It's a regular fortune. Your request will be granted. The patient will get well, but be more careful. The lost article will be found. To start a journey is very good.
So you're not going to tie that one up?
I think I'll keep this one.
Okay. Best fortune!
Best? What?
If you try to be famous, it will come out as you hope. Making a trip is all right. All right, I'm glad this trip is going to be all right. There was no tying up of fortunes on this trip, and from there we headed on to our next stop. I'm in love with Japan already, and it's only been an hour. There's a ton of stuff to do and a ton of places to eat around the temple, so we decided to explore a little bit more before heading on.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
So this is the thing in Tokyo too, is all these different capsule places where you can get kind of these surprise egg type things. So that guy is bringing you into the capsule store. 2 minutes down the road was a spot the kids were very excited about. The Pig Cafe, micro pigs.
We'll be here the rest of the week.
This isn't something I was really interested in, but the kids love animals and we were told to go to an animal cafe while we were in Tokyo since they're so popular. After paying a fee that was a lot more expensive than I anticipated, we were ushered to a room where they had a few different pigs that we could interact with and feed. The pigs wandered around for a little while, ate some food, and then eventually they just went to sleep on both of the children.
We're at the pig cafe and they all like me right now.
They like you the best?
They all sleeping on me. I care about wildlife.
You care about wildlife, yeah, that's so cute. They also had a collection of drinks that you could drink for free while you were in the cafe. This is literally their best life. They're drinking Fanta orange soda while petting pigs.
It's like has lots of sugar in it.
It does have lots of sugar in it. My kids loved it, but I don't think I would do it again. This was around $50 for the 30 minutes for the 4 of us. We had a reservation for TeamLab that we had to get to soon, but we decided to go back to this food stall that had smelled so good on the walkover. The shop specialized in 2 things. A Wagyu sandwich that had these hash brown-like rice cakes as the bread, and then just the meat by itself on a stick.
This is amazing. I almost want to wait in line for another one.
I agree, this is incredible. Finishing up lunch, we had to grab a taxi, which are prevalent in Tokyo and which you can actually order via the Uber app. I normally just would have taken the subway since it's so easy to use in Tokyo, but we were running late and we didn't have time for it. We arrived at TeamLab right in the middle of our 30-minute admission window, and remember, if this is something you want to do, be sure to get the tickets way in advance as it often sells out. After taking off your shoes and storing them in a locker, you enter the first of 3 exhibits, this one all dedicated to water. In it, you will definitely get wet, at least from the knees down, as you start walking up a little river on the way to the waterfall. And this is just the beginning of the crazy experience that awaits you, where the walls and floors and even the people around you all seem to become part of the artwork. There's something incredibly wild about experiencing this while you're walking around barefoot, something that you would never be allowed to do at a museum in the United States. This is crazy! What do you guys think?
I love it.
It feels like we're going through outer space right now, guys. My kids were both overstimulated and excited the entire time we were walking through this first exhibit. Opened in 2018 and initially designed to be temporary, they've extended it 3 times with the closing date supposed to be 2027 currently. This section is the most famous with this murky kind of milk-like water, and then when you walk into the room, you see koi fish swimming all around you. It looks way better in real life, but it was so dark it was hard for my camera to capture it. We're in the koi fish room now! There's koi swimming all around us in this room. One of the craziest things is that the longer that you stay in a place, the more it changes, as the artwork is never the same when you're experiencing it. And then after leaving the milky koi fish, we went into an area that had all these big balls that you could touch and they would change the lighting and the music around them. In case you're wondering, TeamLabs is epic. And then from there, the first of the 3 exhibits end and you can go back to your locker and get your shoes and continue on to the second. The second part was more interactive than the first, with different things that you could climb. There was slides that you could go down, there was places you could jump on, and there was just different art pieces you could interact with. That's the most interesting thing about the whole experience, is that the concept was designed around full body immersion, meaning that you walk through the art instead of just viewing it like a normal art gallery. This section was only for kids and it allowed them to jump on a planet on top of a trampoline and to see ripples going out from it. It was definitely my kids' favorite part of the whole experience.
This is so crazy how they've made this so immersive to when they're jumping, the planet is moving with them and it reflecting off the stars. It's an incredible immersive experience for kids.
After that, there was things you could play with. There was a digital forest with animals that you could walk around and try to find, and that was the end of the second part of the experience. I don't even know what to say about this place. I am overwhelmed.
It is such an indescribable experience. You have to come see it for yourself.
Heading into the third of the 3 exhibits, this one was more outside based with natural lighting, and it had this cool part with these little balls, and then it had the flower room, which was my kid's second favorite part. The flower room is basically a content creator's paradise with mirrored walls and floors and over 10,000 live orchids hanging from the ceiling. We were told by someone who worked here that one of the coolest parts about this room is how the flowers actually bloom and change so that every time you visit, it's something different you see. All of these flowers are alive, they don't require soil to grow, and they're just moving up and down, so you're trying to wait for them to go up while you're going through. For example, I can't walk through here yet, so I have to wait for the flowers to go up, and it creates kind of a natural path through them. It almost felt like a maze, making it a little bit challenging to get around, but also super cool at the same time, unless you're my kids who are small and they could just go under all the flowers easily. We're going to Disneyland in a few days. I think this is going to be better than Disneyland. This is one of the 2 TeamLab experiences in Tokyo, and you'll see the other one a couple days from now in this video. It was meant to be. There's a donut shop right outside of TeamLabs. My kids convinced me that there was no way we couldn't try our first Japanese donuts we had seen.
8 out of 10 and 100 out of 100.
What do you think, Jack?
4 out of 10.
Oh, 4 out of 10? Okay, I'll take this donut then. That means you don't like it.
Yes, I do.
I'm not gonna lie, those are pretty strong donuts for just pre-made ones that they sell from the cart. Well done, Tokyo. It was already late in the day and the jet lag was setting in, so we just rode the public transit back to our hotel, and that was the end of our first day. If you're interested in where we stayed, it was the Mamaro Hotel in Ueno. This is a great family-style hotel that had a bed for Amy and I and then bunk beds for the kids. Also, the people working there were amazing, but next time I might not stay in the Ueno area just because it's a little far from a lot of the things that we did. We're starting day 2 by visiting the Skytree. If you like tall buildings like my son does, then the Tokyo Skytree is a must visit for you in Tokyo. Sitting at 634 meters or over 2,000 feet, this is the tallest tower in the world and the 3rd tallest structure in the world. We grabbed tickets for an early weekday morning, and then when we got there, there was basically nobody waiting and we could get right into the elevator and go up to the observation deck. The main observation deck that most people go to is 350 meters or 1,150 feet above the ground. Wow, it is so clear today that you can see Mount Fuji out there. That's awesome.
We saw Mount Fuji.
Where's it at? Mount Fuji is 106 kilometers away.
This perspective is wild to show how dense and vast Tokyo is. I don't think I've ever seen a city like that before.
From the observation deck, the city stretches on basically as far as you can see in every direction. And you can walk around the entire observation deck so you can get a 360-degree view. It's pretty crazy to see the shadow of the Skytree going out like that. And then there's the temple we were at yesterday. The Skytree opened in 2012 to replace the Tokyo Tower as the city's main broadcasting structure. You'll see the Tokyo Tower in our video tomorrow, and it's crazy how much bigger this one is than that one. It's pretty cool. You can get some ice cream or some snacks, and then you can just sit and look out over the view.
And donuts? And looking off here.
Eating donuts and looking out here. Kids under 5 are free, so we paid for the dual ticket that allows us to go up to the taller observation deck as well. If you pay for this ticket, when you're ready to head up to the upper observation deck, you'll go to the other elevator. And one of the coolest things about this one is that there's actually a window in the elevator so you can see out over the city as you're going up. Do you see that down there? That's where we were just at. This upper observation deck sits 100 meters or 300 feet above the one that we were just at. The walkway here is especially cool in this one as it's kind of like a tube and it wraps around the building, giving you different views. So incredible to be able to see Mount Fuji out there. They said that does not happen very often. And also, that's on my bucket list to climb this year, so hopefully I can make it happen. That gets me even more excited about climbing it though. If you've ever been up to an observation deck with kids, then you'll know how long we lasted here. Basically 15 minutes after we got there, everybody was ready to move on, and so we made our way up to the highest point, and then from there we started to head down. Here we are at the highest point, the Skytree. That is incredible. If you didn't stand by the window on the way up, do it on the way down so you can get those views through the glass window out over the city. And then as you make your way to the elevator that goes down, look for these small sections where you can see right through the floor. It's pretty crazy to see how high up you are. We missed the trains for about 10 minutes to wait, but that Skytree was awesome. Like, I've been on a lot of those observation decks, but the views from up there, especially being able to see Mount Fuji, that was really worth it. After waiting 10 minutes, our train arrived, and we got on and made our way over to our lunch spot, our first sushi experience for Amy. Also note that when you're on the subway in Japan, you're not supposed to talk very loud and you're not supposed to eat. It's a very interesting experience.
It's amazing how quiet those subways are, especially when you're traveling with kids. Something I was not expecting.
For lunch, we headed back to the Ueno area and then over to Sushiro. This is a very popular conveyor belt sushi chain, and there are dozens of them around Tokyo and hundreds in Japan. Note that if you come at lunch or dinner, you will definitely have to wait because of its popularity and the fact that it's well priced, so even locals eat there.
This is what I came to Japan for.
There you go.
Amy and I would have preferred to eat a lot more sushi on this trip, but the kids aren't into it, so we'll have to do that on the next trip.
Has arrived. Got more of this basil mayo one because it was so good.
If you come with kids who don't like sushi, then you can order tempura, you can order french fries, you can even order plain white rice.
Sunny is a fan of the egg and rice, huh, Sunny? There's all sorts of crazy stuff on this menu. This is salmon with basil and cheese and mayonnaise. Okay, that's pretty good. Salmon, basil, cheese, and mayonnaise. 2 thumbs up. And to end the time, we got a strawberry parfait for the children. We did work on the sushi place. Look at those plates that we all ate. Was it good?
Bon appetit.
Bon appetit for sure.
I feel zero guilt at all.
Leaving lunch, Amy and the kids decided to head back to the hotel for a nap, and so I decided to go out and explore the Ameyoka shopping street. This picturesque shopping area was only a 2-minute walk from the sushi place we had lunch at, and it's everything you'd expect it to be with signs and lights and digital billboards and all of that craziness. I'm sure it's probably even better at night. While there's all sorts of street food vendors, vending machines, and places to buy clothes, I was only looking for one thing.
Loaded up on my green tea Kit Kats. This is one of my favorite things in Japan.
I'm a huge matcha fan, and green tea Kit Kats are one of my favorite treats in the entire world. Any of my friends who go to Japan, I always ask them to bring me back some of these, as they're pretty hard to find in the United States. After walking the shopping street, I took the 10-minute walk over to Ueno Park. This is one of the most popular parks in Tokyo, especially when the weather's good, and it's massive, sitting at roughly 5.8 million square feet. The park contains multiple museums, a zoo, shrines, and ponds, all within walking distance of the main road. It's especially popular during cherry blossom season, with millions of visitors passing through over those few weeks.
We're a little early in the season, but it's cool to see what I think is a sakura tree, cherry blossom tree, starting to bloom over here. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments though.
I set out to wander around aimlessly, and I found myself passing through a market and walking to my first temple within 10 minutes of being in the park. This is by far my favorite thing to do in a new city, is just walking around with no agenda and just seeing what I'm gonna find. I spent a little bit of time at the temple just taking it all in, and then after leaving and walking past the market again, I found a street performer who I watched for a while, and then I found a docent who told me all about the park in English and gave me different suggestions on what to do. It was pretty cool that they had both an English speaking and Japanese speaking guide right next to the map who could answer any questions you had. He told me I couldn't leave the park without visiting the Toshigu Shrine, and so that's where I headed to next, passing a massive torii gate on my way there. I have to say that even the long walkway up to the temple was incredibly beautiful, with a 5-story pagoda on one side and a garden on the other. And then reaching the shrine, it's a sight to behold, as it was built in 1627, and it's one of the few things that survived the World War II bombings in the park. If you're interested, you can pay a small fee and you can enter into the shrine courtyard and walk around to see it more up close. I would highly suggest you do it, as this place is beautiful.
This is an incredible shrine. It's so ornate and beautiful to see.
The main hall is basically covered in a gold leaf, and it's one of those places that doesn't look real when you see it with your own eyes. You're only able to access the courtyard on your self-guided tour though, and you can't actually peek your head inside or anything. On the way back out, I walked by the pagoda again, and then someone told me to go visit the peony garden as it only blooms for about a month and a half out of the year, and I happened to be there when it was blooming. The garden has been faithfully maintained for generations, and the woman working there told me that the flower is historically associated with wealth and honor in Japan. The garden itself is about 15 minutes to walk through, and each of the rows have different types of peonies and different colors and variations. I wouldn't say this is really my thing, but I didn't want to pass up an opportunity to see something like this when it was in bloom since it's such a short period each year. Leaving the garden and the temple behind, I decided to make my last stop the Tokyo National Museum. And it was so cool to see everybody out enjoying the sunny day, just walking the main walkway past the beautiful fountain towards the museum. What a perfect day in the park. There's music and events and all sorts of fun stuff happening, and now I am going to the Tokyo Museum. This is just a cool ticket for the museum. Check that out, and you got a stamp on it and everything. The Tokyo National Museum was opened in 1872, making it the oldest museum in Japan and one of the largest. While some of the major exhibits were closed when I was there, you could still spend hours exploring this museum and seeing all of the interesting Japanese artifacts that they have. One of the most popular items when I was there was this art piece, which was really cool to see up close as you could understand kind of the shadows and the elements it created. But my favorite part of the museum was the exhibit dedicated to samurai. They had all sorts of different kinds of gear and outfits worn by samurai, they had samurai swords on display, and they even had stories that you could read about the individual samurai. There was also a nice outdoor garden area with a lake that you could walk around and explore, but I didn't have a lot of time to see this part. The last section I thought was really cool was this stamp art area where you could take a piece of paper and you could stamp 5 different stamps onto it with different colors, which created a finished picture. Here's the last step. That's a pretty cool souvenir to take home with you. So yeah, don't miss this museum. It's pretty impressive, and if you're into this part of history, you could probably spend a half day exploring. I'm heading back to connect with the family and do something I'm really excited about, but before we do that, I want to tell you about this week's sponsor, Element, which I'm about to use now since I've already done 10,000 steps today. Element is a zero sugar electrolyte mix with sodium, potassium, and magnesium. We packed it with us everywhere on our month-long trip, from Tokyo mornings to long train days to sweaty afternoons in Vietnam, and even in the airport where dehydration sneaks up on you if you haven't been drinking water. Cheers. That lemonade one is so good. Put one packet into a bottle of water and you'll feel the difference fast. For me, it's more energy, fewer headaches, and way better focus when filming all day. If you're traveling, hiking, or moving through a city like we were, Element is definitely worth bringing with you and is a travel go-to for us. If you're interested in checking out Element for yourself, right now they're offering my subscribers a free 8-count sample pack of some of their most popular flavors with any order. That's 8 single-serving packs with any order. You can check it out by going to drinklmnt.com/throughmylens or clicking the link in the description. All right, now let's head back into Tokyo and do something I am very excited about. On the way back to the hotel, I did stop at a place called Savor the Matcha. Amy is absolutely obsessed with matcha these days, and I wanted to try a place in Japan as I knew that they'd be taking it to the next level. Amy confirmed it was incredible matcha. Next up, Jack and I are going somewhere special. Where are we going?
Pokemon Cafe!
The Pokemon Cafe. I don't know who's more excited, Jack or me. Since we have twins and they basically do everything together, Amy and I try to do this thing called Special Time, where we take one of them and we do a one-on-one adventure. So this time Amy took Sunny to the Hello Kitty store and she was able to pick out a new Hello Kitty stuffy, and I took Jack to the Pokemon Cafe. We are heading into the Pokemon Center. I feel like I've been waiting my entire life for this. My 10-year-old self would be very excited right now. There's the Pokemon Cafe, but it's not our turn yet, so we're gonna explore the center first. The Pokemon Center is popular, so we had to get tickets to come back 10 minutes later and then wait in line to even get into the store. These centers are all around Japan with multiple in Tokyo, and the stores were created after Pokemon exploded in popularity in the 90s. Here you can find a stuffy of every single Pokemon that they've created. You can find cards and you can find all sorts of other memorabilia that you can collect. I went to a few Pokemon centers while I was in Japan, and each time I was there the line was so long that you had to wait about an hour to purchase anything. So we didn't get anything and then we just headed on to the Pokemon Cafe. Alright, let's talk about the Pokemon Cafe and how hard it is to get reservations. If you're not interested in this, feel free to skip it. Reservations usually open around a month in advance, but be sure to double check that online. Also, you need to double check what the time is for your time zone, as it can be in the middle of the night or the middle of the day. You need to be on the website right when the reservations go out, and the site often crashes because of the amount of traffic of people trying to get reservations.
Jack's meal came with this cool coloring thing that he can do when he gets home, huh, bud?
Do note that there are some third parties that can help you secure a reservation for an additional fee, but it's best to be able to get it yourself if possible. Jack's food came out first, which was the kids' meal, and you have to appreciate the presentation here.
It's a Pikachu flag.
That's cool. Are you gonna keep that?
It's the best one of all time.
Next, the drinks came out, and we ordered 3 different drinks to try, and each one came with the opportunity to play a little game and to win a special coaster from the cafe.
Also, don't judge me. I've always been a fan of Sudowoodo, and so I had to get that for my drink, and they said it's the first time they've ever seen anybody order him, so he's apparently not a very popular Pokemon, only to me.
Following that, my meal came out, and look at this presentation.
I don't really want to eat this because it looks so beautiful, but I guess you gotta dig in right into Pikachu's face. There's no way this can taste as good as it looks. Alright, now for the Eevee drink. Not a lot of flavor in that one. It's beautiful though. Check it out, Jack got a Pokeball for dessert. Whoa! What do you think, bud? That's so cool.
As you can no doubt tell, the presentation at this place is top notch and the food is okay. Jack loved it, that's all that mattered. Right when we were finishing our dessert, the highlight of the night happened, and that's when Chef Pikachu himself came out to hang out with everybody. He walked around for a while and they said a lot of things in Japanese, so I wasn't exactly sure what they were saying. But then they led us in an amazing rendition of If You're Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands. I mean, what more could you want from your time at the Pokemon Cafe? Oh, and if you're interested, feel free to pick up some exclusive Pokemon merch on the way out. And if you're wondering, I spent around $70 US for this meal.
Pikachu, I do use.
That is so cool. Look at, he's cooking a Pikachu right there.
Now I got some say Evo.
Final thoughts on the Pokemon Cafe. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's definitely expensive. It's hard to get reservations to, but I did think it was a lot of fun. That being said, the food was pretty average. The drinks were not very good, but the experience was incredible. I mean, how do you put a price on a Pikachu plushie where he's cooking another Pikachu? I mean, who doesn't want to take one of those home with you? Alright, that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. In between day 2 and 3, we actually went to Tokyo Disney Sea, but that was too long to be put into this video, so we'll have a separate video on that you can see linked in the description. We began day 3 by cooking up a breakfast in our hotel room with some stuff from Family Mart and 7-Eleven, and then we headed out and got on the subway to go to our first stop. Starting our day by visiting a photogenic spot called 1,000 Tories.
Also, on a Sunday morning in Tokyo, there is nothing going on.
For this first adventure, we headed to the Hiya Shrine, which dates back over 500 years. While the most famous of the Torii Gate walkways is the one in Kyoto, this is the best one to see if you're only in Tokyo for your trip. No matter when you go, you'll see a lot of people posing and taking pictures with this gate. And I sat and talked with someone for a little while and asked what the significance was, and they told me that you'll traditionally find these gates near Shinto shrines, and that they're actually used to symbolically mark the transition from the mundane to the sacred. When you get to the top, you'll make it to the shrine, and while its presence here dates back centuries, it was actually rebuilt in the 1950s. The thing I liked most about it is that it doesn't feel touristy like a lot of the other shrines in Tokyo, and there's a quiet peacefulness to it as you're exploring. We explored for about 30 minutes and then walked down the main stairway that's really picturesque, and then grabbed an Uber to go to our next stop. This led us to a unique part of Tokyo where you could see the Tokyo Tower in the distance, and we were surrounded by some of the most expensive shopping brands in the world. We were here for our second TeamLab experience, this time at one called Borderlands, and as we entered the mall, we went and got a coffee before heading in. Our kids were so excited about the first TeamLab experience, and Amy and I loved it as well, so we decided that we had to do the second one in Tokyo before we left. This one's called Borderlands, and it's much different than the first one, as you can actually walk and explore without a linear path. You basically just go wherever you want into whatever room you want. This one was especially cool for the kids, and we just took turns playing follow the leader, letting them decide which direction we went in the experience. That was until we found this room where you could just climb up this little hill and then slide down it, which was hard for anyone to want to leave.
This is a pretty amazing room that we're in now. Look at this, all the kids can slide and climb on the artwork, and it's just changing all around us. It's awesome.
Once we were finally able to pull ourselves away from this room, we went on an exploration. And this is one of those places that, because of the non-linearness of it, I can tell you we definitely did not see everything during our couple hours there. My favorite room that I entered, and probably one of my favorite rooms in the entire TeamLab's experience, is the smoke room. Here they have art projected up onto the smoke, and it's constantly changing. I mean, that's the thing about the Borderlands experience, is that you could go into the same room twice and you could see something completely different as it's evolving and changing throughout the day. It definitely feels like you're a part of the artwork when you're exploring this. I mean, look at this one. When people enter, they actually have a two-way mirror, so they see a mirror on their side, but you can actually watch how they're interacting with the art from the other side.
It's so crazy that's a two-way wall, so people can look at you and you can't even see them.
Do note that if you come with young children, it can be very overstimulating, and our kids had to leave a few rooms just because they couldn't handle it, which I totally understand.
I thought the smoke room was my favorite, but this bubble room is pretty hard to beat as well. This is blowing my mind here.
One of the other huge highlights for my kids was that there was an area where you could pick out a different sea animal, and then you could color it however you wanted, scan it in, and it would appear up on the wall. I mean, there's something pretty magical for kids and adults as well to be able to see something like this come to life and actually swim around and interact with the other creations. Of course, these are just a few of the rooms that you can see here, and I guarantee that we probably missed at least 25% of them. It's like a maze when you walk around, never knowing which rooms you've actually been in. And even when you go in some, you have to second guess whether you've been in them or not because of how they change.
And we're back in this room to end our time at TeamLab. This is the kids' favorite room. Both of these blew me away. They're well worth seeking out in your Tokyo trip. It's just incredible for adults and for kids.
After a few hours of exploring, we decided it was time to leave, and we walked over to the close mall, which had a burger place. My kids were really missing some Western food, so that's where we decided to go.
We're at a burger place with 4,000 reviews on Google, and it is very American here. We got American music going and everything. The kids are excited, but mine is a teriyaki foie gras burger, which is not American. These burgers are like an art form, the way that they put them together and fun and everything. It's very impressive. Smoky, rich, full of flavor. Americans can learn a thing or two about a Japanese burger, apparently.
That spot is a really great option for families. It has a little bit of taste of home for the kids, but Japanese flavors and more fun for parents.
Before leaving the shopping mall that Shogun is in, go over to this elevator and go up to floor 34 to go to the Sky Room Cafe and Bar, which is a great place to get a view of the Tokyo Tower.
So if you want to come up here, it is 500 yen per person, and you do have to order a drink, but it's a great place to get some coffee. I mean, and look at these views.
Amy and I just grabbed some coffees and we walked around and explored for a while, just finding a great place to sit and look out over the view. The kids didn't complain as well. They liked to be able to talk about the people in the cars way down below us and how the Tokyo Tower looked like the Eiffel Tower.
That's a pretty awesome place to get married right there. Look at that view.
We spent about 30 minutes up here, but I saw people with their computers just working, and it is a cool place to spend a little bit of time. Once we made it back down and exited the shopping mall, I decided I wanted to go over and see what the Tokyo Tower looked like from above.
So nobody in my family wants to go up the Tokyo Tower with me, so they're going back to relax, and I'm gonna go to the top and see what it looks like up there.
The Tokyo Tower is pretty cool when you see it from its base. It definitely has that Eiffel Tower feel that it was supposedly inspired by. And because of the Skytree, it's not as popular to visit anymore, so it was really easy to grab a ticket and to make our way up. Unfortunately, the top deck wasn't open on the day I was there, so I was only able to go to the main observation deck. Before getting in the elevator, you'll see lots of different pictures about the history of the tower itself, which was opened in 1958. The tower was designed to handle radio broadcasts over the massive and growing city of Tokyo, and then it quickly became a landmark due to its unique color and shape. The Tokyo Tower itself stands at around 330 meters, so 1,090 feet tall. However, the main observation deck just sits at 150 meters or around 500 feet, so you're not actually that high up when you go to this one. I think that building is where we were just at when we were at that lobby looking over the Tokyo Tower. There's also a shrine in the Tokyo Tower which I thought was pretty unique, and it was created in 1977. I mean, it's pretty cool to see the city from this way, but when you're looking out, you can see how many massive buildings have been built since this one. And I would have liked to have been able to go up to the upper deck as it's about double the height. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty anticlimactic, especially after seeing the Skytree yesterday and even after seeing the lobby that we were just at where we were having coffee. Like, I'm not upset about it, it's well priced for what it is, it's historic, but it's definitely not the greatest view. Maybe if we could go all the way to the top, but that one's closed today. The coolest part by far is seeing the shadow cast out over the city, because it's actually cooler to have pictures with the Tokyo Tower in it since it's so iconic. There is a little bit of glass floor, which is pretty cool. That is a long way down right there. Finishing up our time at Tokyo Tower, I headed down to the souvenir shop. Can anyone tell me what this creature is? No idea. I have no idea what this mascot was supposed to be, and when I came back down, he was just finishing a drum show, and then he gave me a high five when he walked by. It was basically the highlight of mine and all the little children who were around me each day to meet him. Leaving Tokyo Tower, I had a little bit more time to kill before meeting the family for dinner, so I headed to a museum that I was hoping to see. Next, I'm in downtown Tokyo for two things. First, the Art Aquarium Museum, second, the Sony store. First up was the Art Aquarium Museum, and the hardest thing about this museum is finding it. You have to get tickets on the 8th floor of the shopping mall and then go down to the 7th floor to check in. The whole thing is a little confusing. That being said, this is one of the craziest museums I've ever been to, and it was worth the effort to find. Kinda like TeamLab, I have no idea how to describe this museum. Supposedly it was a concept that started as a temporary exhibit combining goldfish and art, and then it became so popular that they made it a permanent exhibit. These are called ping pong pearl goldfish, and they definitely look like ping pong balls. I expected this museum to be small, but it actually went on for a good while, and it has dozens and dozens of different custom tanks in all shapes and sizes and layouts. Then you add to that the neon lights and the vibes, and it's just a wild spot. You guys, this is such a strange museum. I have to say, I kind of dig it. It's weird and unique and unlike anything I've ever seen before. The other thing that hit me about this spot is how many people were there. Like, this is a popular museum. You'll have to decide if that's for you or not, but I have to say, you've never seen anything like that before in your life. From there, we headed outside to walk to our next stop. Something interesting to note is that on many of these different Sundays, they actually close the street down to cars so you can walk as a pedestrian, which is pretty cool. This is the Ginza area of Tokyo, and as you can see, it is a very popular place for shopping. I honestly thought it was a lot of fun and just a cool experience to walk around and see all these buildings and all these shops and just everybody out having a good time. From here, I made my way over to another popular spot known as Nissan Crossing, which is basically a Nissan brand showcase for concept cars instead of a traditional dealership. There are multiple floors with different futuristic cars that rotate regularly, and there's places to just sit and look out over the street, or you can continue going up to floor 4, which is where Sony is, the main thing I was wanting to see. As someone who shoots with Sony cameras, I thought it'd be pretty cool to come up here and to see what kind of tech they had on display. Overall though, it wasn't really that exciting, but there is the opportunity to mess with a lot of cameras if you're interested. They even have a little makeshift area that you can use to test out the zoom lenses. Oh, and they had some robot dogs you could play with. Cool to check out the Sony store. I thought maybe there'd be a little bit more there than there was, but now I'm heading back to hang out with the family and go get some dinner. I went back and hung out at the hotel for a little bit, and then we all went back out and went to Akihabara Electric Town for dinner. We started by heading to Don Quixote, a place that a lot of people had told us that we had to check out. And I don't know what to say about this spot. It is incredibly overwhelming. There's floors and floors of different things that you can purchase, and it is just chaos in here with the amount of people, the narrow aisles, and just all of the things to see. We were able to find some Totoro keychains for the kids though, which is one of their favorite movies and something that they were really excited to see when we got to Japan.
The store literally has everything and anything you could want.
For dinner, we headed out to a place called Pepper Lunch, which was created in Japan and is a very popular chain.
So Mama and Sunny like this spot so much that they took us here for night 2. Are you excited, buddy?
So give this place a 10 out of 10 so far?
I'd give it a 10 out of 10 on how they provided the utensils, for sure.
It was created to provide high-quality beef dishes at affordable pricing. When you purchase, they bring it out in this hot cast iron and you actually cook the meat right in front of you yourself. This is the main reason my kids liked it so much, and I would say if you're going with young children, this is a great spot to get dinner, and there's lots of them all around Tokyo. After dinner, we walked the electric street a little bit more, and then we put the kids to bed, and I headed out to explore Tokyo a little bit at night. Next time I'm here when the kids are a little older, I'm sure we'll do a lot more at night, because that's one of the coolest parts about Tokyo is seeing all of the neon signs and lights and everything just lit up. Put the kids to bed. I'm at the Tokyo Metropolitan Building where they have a light show every 30 minutes, but on the weekends twice they have Godzilla, so that's what I'm gonna see right now. Here's the current timetable, so this is the one I'm doing right here. It's not always gonna be like this, so be sure you check before you go. It's freezing cold out here tonight, and I think I'm one of the only people who wants to watch it. The show was started in February 2024, and for almost 2 years it's been entertaining tourists nightly. Admission is free as you just watch it from the large park in front of the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building. And it's supposedly been certified as the world's largest permanent architectural projection map display. This first show went through all the different iterations of Godzilla over the years, and it was pretty awesome, but the second one is the one that I was most excited about. This one was called Godzilla's Attack on Tokyo, and it showed Godzilla fighting the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building. I have to say, it was incredibly cool and an awesome way to spend about 4 minutes, which is how long the shows go. That was a ton of fun. There's just something iconic about seeing Godzilla while you're in Tokyo. A couple more night stops now. Since this was basically my one time to explore at night, I decided to do as much as possible and made my way over to the Shinjuku area first. And then I started with a visit to Amoide Yokocho, also known as Memory Lane. This area has been around for decades, starting as a market in the 1950s that served grilled food to workers and locals. The narrow alleyway is full of tiny restaurants, many that only seat 8 to 10 people, and it's lined with lanterns, making it look like a preserved slice of old Japan more than the modern city that you see around it. I just walked through it quickly and I didn't really get to fully experience it, but next time I definitely plan to come back and sit down and try a few of the different stalls. What an awesome street. If I hadn't already had dinner, I definitely would have been stopping in at a few of those places. From here, I made my way over to the neon lights of Shinjuku, which is definitely overwhelming, photogenic, and just a cool vibe. I was looking for something specific though, and that's the Godzilla head that sits at the top of one of the hotels. This is the whole reason I came down here, Godzilla Road. And there he is, the man himself, Godzilla. Watching over the busy streets at night, this Godzilla has been a fixture of the area since it was installed in 2015. One of the funniest things is that I seem to be the only person who was taking pictures of it when I was there. From there I crossed the street onto my next stop, but I did turn around to make sure he wasn't following me. Less than a 5-minute walk away is the other really popular attraction in this area, the 3D cat. The cat shows up on the billboard in between ads every 5 minutes or so, and there were tons of people standing around waiting for it. You can see all of these people waiting for the 3D cat. It was only on for about 15 seconds and then now it's ads. I mean, I have to give it to them. They're super smart. This is probably the best way you could ever get people to watch ads, is to only have the cat on for a few seconds, put an ad, and then put the cat back again. After watching a few more rounds of the cat, I hopped into the subway and I made my way over to Shibuya.
Here it is, the famous Shibuya Crossing. I'm gonna come here tomorrow with everybody during the daytime, but I wanted to see it at night as well.
If you're not familiar with Shibuya Crossing, it's probably the most famous crosswalk in the entire world.
I can't say that this is something that I really needed to do on my bucket list, but I've crossed the Shibuya Crossing, so there's that. The amount of people trying to take pictures here is insane too. Honestly, that might be one of the most anticlimactic tourist attractions in the entire world. I crossed the street. Look at all those people ready to run out and try to get their photo before everybody goes.
Known as the busiest pedestrian crosswalk in the world, they say that there's times that 3,000 people could cross it during one green light. Plus, it's been shown in so many different movies that feature Tokyo. I think that's why it's so popular. I was hoping to go up to the famous rooftop lounge where you can look down on it, but unfortunately it's closed for another few months, and so I headed over to Starbucks to see if I could get a little bit higher. The Starbucks had a lot of people in it, but I was able to easily grab a spot at the window for a few minutes so I could shoot this time lapse. As you can no doubt tell, it's pretty wild to see the amount of people that were crossing on just a normal weekday. And there's a TikTok trend right now where people try to sprint out to the middle of the street to get a photo and stuff, so you can see that's what these people are doing.
There you go, the Shibuya Crossing again. I'm putting this away. I'll see you tomorrow where we explore some cooler areas of Shibuya.
We started by heading down into the metro station and grabbing a train to take us over to Shibuya. From where we were staying, this is about 40 minutes on the train, and we headed straight to Shibuya Sky, the observation deck that looks out over the city.
Everybody's tired.
So tired.
When the time on our ticket arrived, we got in the elevator, which had a crazy cosmic experience, and then made our way up multiple escalators to access the observation deck. It was awesome that we were greeted by Mount Fuji out in the distance, but of course the first thing everybody does here is find a spot to look down on the Shibuya Crossing. Shibuya Sky was opened in 2019, and I have to say it's a pretty cool observation deck with some great views of the city. Of course, it's not as high as the Skytree, but you can see the Tokyo Tower and the Skytree out in the distance and Mount Fuji on the other side. I mean, it's just a cool spot.
Wow, check out Mount Fuji out there. We got some great views today.
If you want a professional picture, there's a corner where you can wait in line and they'll take one for you, and then you can use your phone to take a picture after they're done.
This is the reason everybody comes up here, for the social media pictures going down that escalator, looking out over the city, usually at nighttime though.
We only stayed up here for about 30 minutes as my kids were way over observation decks by this point of the trip.
I have to say, this is a pretty awesome viewpoint, and it was even nicer because the kids are 5, so they were still free, so I just had to pay for Amy and I.
Do note that if you want to come up here for sunset, the tickets often book out way in advance, so be sure to research that before you come. After watching the crossing one more time, we took the elevator back down and on to our next stop.
We are heading up right now to the Robot Cafe, which is one of the things the kids are the most excited about on this trip.
Known as Pepper Parlor, this Robot Cafe is a popular tourist attraction. Definitely get reservations in advance, and it's only about a 7-minute walk from Shibuya Sky. From the moment the robot started taking us to our table and Sunny was waving at the chef robots as we were going, this was one of those lunches that our family will never forget. When you sit down, you have your own personal robot which you can talk to or which you can just have sing and dance while you're eating.
The robot is singing Taylor Swift to Sunny right now.
What's this?
The robot sang us Jingle Bells, Oasis, Don't Look Back in Anger, and then it was kind of like a buffet lunch.
Here's all of the different songs that the robot can dance to. Hey robot, what do you think about people who do YouTube for a living?
It's fascinating how they can share their passions and stories with so many people. What do you think makes a good YouTuber?
Check it out, the robot's helping me create ideas for YouTube while we're waiting for our food. This is awesome.
I will say that the food was not that exciting, but being able to have it delivered by robots and this experience as a whole was something that the kids were very excited about and probably the best meal we had on the trip.
We got ramen, we got some cold roast beef that we weren't expecting, we got chicken, and then there's a buffet over here. It's an interesting place for lunch.
Doesn't the robot look kind of sad to see us leaving?
The food left a little bit to be desired, but how do you beat a robot singing Taylor Swift in a Japanese accent?
And now you get to do the Shibuya Crossing. How excited are you about that?
I'm actually really excited. I know it's kind of probably not that exciting because it's just a crossing, but I think it looks awesome.
From the Robot Cafe, it's only about a 5-minute walk over to the crossing. And I would say I think it was a lot more busy at night than it is during the day. Maybe it's just people working and who actually need to cross during the day where it's tourists at night.
Wild. I loved it though. There's so much excitement and energy, and my favorite was the couples running to take a picture of each other. That was the best. I really want to like prop up a chair and just people watch all day long right here. I think that would be ideal.
In case you were wondering too, that's the building that Shibuya Sky is on, way up there. That's where we just started. Now we're down here.
From there, we walk towards Shibuya Center, which is a street full of different restaurants, tourist shops, and all sorts of crazy screens and things to see.
This area is wild, but it is so much fun and full of energy.
We didn't stay in Shibuya, but I know that's a popular place for tourists to stay, and I could see why with the amount of options you have of things to do down here. It's definitely overwhelming, but there is a lot to do.
Before leaving the area, we're going to the Nintendo store because it's another thing that I've always wanted to see while I was in Tokyo. That's the way to enter the Nintendo store right there. That is so cool.
This store opened in 2019 and it was Nintendo's first official store in Japan. It's basically everything you would want it to be, with life-size statues of everyone from Mario to Link. And tons of different things you can purchase. I heard it described as Nintendo turning childhood memories into a physical place. And then right next to it, there's another Pokemon Center, much like the first one that I saw with Jack a few days ago.
This one is themed way cooler than the one that we went to a couple days ago, but it's just as busy with an hour at least line to check out.
I probably would have purchased some things at the Pokemon Center since I'm such a big fan, but I didn't ever want to wait in the line. It was like a full day experience just to get in that line to buy something.
More babies? Oh man, we're gonna take home all the babies in Japan. This is Jack's favorite character in Mario Kart, huh, bud? The piranha plant. And this is Sunny's favorite that she always plays. They knew that if I came to the Nintendo store with me, there's no way I could say no to anything they asked for. Also, this is my Mario Kart character right here, Yoshi. That's pretty awesome, but I'm not taking that in my backpack home.
When I finally pulled myself away from the Nintendo store, we grabbed an Uber and we went to our last stop, Yoyogi Park. This park is massive, and since it was a nice day, you could tell it was just all the people who were out enjoying it. It's famous for its large tories, which are popular for photographs, but it has a long history, even being the Olympic village for the 1964 Tokyo Olympics.
For our last stop of the trip, we wanted to come to the park with a large torii, and now we're just walking to the shrine with like thousands of people. It's a national holiday today, so looks like it's going to be pretty busy up there.
On the way to the shrine, one of the first things you'll see are all of the beautiful sake barrels that line the walkway. I read online that these are donated to the shrine from different distilleries and breweries around Japan. And then only a 2-minute walk away, you'll reach another large torii. I was told that these tories mark the transition from the city and all of its chaos into the sacred space of the shrine. I asked a local through Google Translate why they are so big, and he told me that the scale is intentional and that it's almost meant to kind of humble you and make you feel small as you're walking through there, but in a good way. At least that's how it came across in the translation, so be sure to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. This path and all the people we were following eventually led us to the Meiji Shrine. This shrine was originally built in 1920, but then it was destroyed during World War II and then fully rebuilt after. Its location right in the middle of this massive forest in the heart of Tokyo makes it a really special shrine in the city. We didn't stay long due to the amount of people that were there, but it was still a really cool spot to walk to in the park.
This is a really beautiful park, nice place to walk, lots of history.
And with that, our time in Japan is done. This is an incredible place, somewhere we will be back to many times, I'm sure. You guys have anything you want to say before we leave?
Konnichiwa. Bye.
Arigato.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for exploring Japan with us, and this is just the start of our journeys in Asia. Be sure to subscribe to see all of them.